The same, which is that young people are pouring into these screenings and they're selling out. And at the Museum of Modern Art, they ran 50 films, including Michael's first films without Emmerich. And they wrote me a beautiful note at the end of their 50 film season. And they said, "We're so sorry it's ending because we've never had a retrospective of any director." Now, this is really stunning. Any director where they were selling out all the time, where they had to turn people away because they didn't have enough seats, where the reaction in the theater, which I could feel tonight, was so strong, and there was applause at the end of every film. They said, "We're not used to that, and it's been so wonderful, and we wish we could go on." So, but the same thing happened in England, where they started a 50 film, and I did a lot of events over there, people pouring in, young people pouring in, and packed houses. It was just fantastic. I don't know how we hit this period that this is happening. I don't know if it was COVID or Trump or I don't know. I mean, something has happened that is making this young people reach out for these movies, which is such a joy, and I've seen it everywhere. I went, every place I've gone, this has happened.
When I was working with the BFI to arrange the program, they said, "Oh yeah, Red Shoes and Narcissus, those will be full." And they were like, "But get ready for Blimp." They were like, they had to keep adding encores, and they were like, "Everybody comes out for Blimp." I mean, it is such a special film, and to see it on the big screen is so wonderful. Well, I want to get to the audience because I feel like the energy is really lovely, and there may be questions, and we have some microphones, some colleagues with microphones that will run those around. So I see a question in the back, so maybe we'll start there with that hand, and then we'll keep going around.
Hi, thank you for being here. I was just wondering, I think that the film critic David Thompson, are you familiar
Yes.
with David Thompson? Yes. He did a great job of rehabilitating your husband's work as well, especially American's biographical dictionary of film.
Yes.
He said that no British filmmaker had made so many masterpieces than Michael Powell. And he was teaching in the 70s at Dartmouth College.
Yes.
Yes. And he invited, you know this, your husband to teach there for one semester. And I'm just wondering if he had any role in introducing you to Michael Powell.
No.
No, he did not. Okay. I just wanted to settle that. I just wanted to know if there was
But
any.
I knew him.
You knew him,
But
okay.
no, he didn't. It was Marty.
Okay.
I've had the best job in the world for 50 years almost.
Yeah.
And I've had the best husband in the world, thanks to Martin Scorsese.
Well. Thank you.
There's one here. Do we have a mic nearby on this side? Perfect. Right there. Yeah.
Hi, thanks for being here. I was wondering if there was any similarity or any discussions about the love triangle in Red Shoes and then the love triangle that's in Gone to Earth, and if there was any connection between those films and the stories that Powell and Pressburger were interested in telling.
Yeah, I don't think so, but you're right. There is a triangle, but what happened when, after Rank said they hated the Red Shoes, Michael and Emmerich left. They were furious, and they went to Alexander Korda, a great Hungarian who came to England and made some very famous films. But he had bought a lot of books that he wanted made into films so he could get a lot of the money back from them. And so he kept trying to make Powell and Pressburger make films from books, which Michael was very concerned about. He said, "I can hear the crackle of the page." But actually Black Narcissus is from a book. But so Gone to Earth, which I love, and hope to restore, was made from a book. But it's got great power and a beautiful evocation of the area that Michael's father came from. The land is so beautifully evoked there. So, yeah, I mean, the books thing really got to Michael finally, and they left Korda because of that. But they made some good films, Small Back Room, and
Just playing at 8:15 tonight. You can make it a three-peat if you want.
I mean, they overcame as much as possible the feeling of a book, I think.
Some question. Any over here? We got one right down here. We got two. Make it really easy to pass the mic.
It's just an honor to be in your presence and just being one of the greatest editors in the history of the medium. Yes.
Thank you very much, but it's Marty and me. He taught me everything I know about editing, and we collaborate entirely on it. But thank you.
No, I love that. I love that, and that's what any filmmaker tells me. It's always a collaboration. But in terms of the cinema of Powell and Pressburger, and from the perspective of an editor, are there certain sequences that you love to return to that just kind of rejuvenate your creative juices, or there's either in Red Shoes or any of the films? you
Yes,
really
well,
share?
I mean, Marty, has occasionally been influenced so strongly by something that he decides to use it, but he never mimics it. A lot of people mimic Hitchcock, but he never does that. He takes the idea and he enters it into his brain and it becomes something else. Just to show you a minor one, which is in After Hours, when Griffin Dunn is going down on a hellish cab ride where it's almost like he's going to be killed, and he just has one $20 bill, I think it is, and that flies out the window. And Marty decided to shoot the way that dollar bill comes down to the street from the way the wedding dress is swinging in the train in I Know Where I'm Going. So it's not a direct, it's not mimicking is what I mean. He always makes it his own, yeah.
There was maybe it's in the Made in England documentary. There was some sort of maybe video essay I saw that was talking about Barbie, Greta Gerwig's Barbie, and that there's like Powell and Pressburger-esque moments, with the grandeur of the set, and so it's like I really feel like maybe it's because I've seen a lot of Powell and Pressburger. I feel like I see them on screen being paid homage to or being
Yeah.
referenced to so
Well,
often.
she says that she was she says she was very deeply influenced by Red Shoes and A Matter of Life and Death. Yeah, the size of the sets on Matter of Life and Death, and recreating the universe and the Earth, except the Earth is covered in moss because they're British, and so everything. And Arthur Clarke, even the writer of 2001, when he first saw the first picture of the Earth and it was so blue, he couldn't believe it. He had no idea. But that wonderful way of opening that movie with "This is the universe," big, isn't it? And it's how did they do that? In those days, how with visual effects did they do that? And the wonderful the wonderful visual effects person for Powell and Pressburger was called Papa Day. And for those of you who know something about film history, he was trained by Georges Méliès, the great original man in France who came up with the idea of special effects. So it went from Méliès to Papa Day to George Lucas, who came and took some of the people who worked for Michael, and they worked on the early Star Wars.
And you had also said that so many